in normal times, the inaugural address is actually not political at all. I mean, it is a the result of a political outcome of an election. But
I just want to look at that salute that he gave again, just if anybody missed it, we'll just show it again. He's just wrapped up here. You can hear the
clear corruption by the president and the first family, and it just never went anywhere with the media.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope all's good wherever you are. The leftoid mainstream media, we don't hate these people enough. The propaganda, the gaslighting is already starting. The meltdowns are happening. Jake Tapper, Jen Psaki, Rachel Madcow, all having complete and utter fits about what happened today. And you know what? I'm freaking here for it. Let's get to the clips. All the details are in the timestamps. These are awesome. Let's go.
All right, so we just showed that. We just showed that.
Right. It's worth salute. It was quick. I think our viewers are smart and they can take a look at that, but it certainly was. It's not something that you typically see at American political rallies, put it that way.
No, it was not something that you usually would see. And it was quick, as you point out. It was very quick, but it was in a moment of intensity for him as he came out dancing, and then he did that. He is a hero here.
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you. It is thanks to you that the future of civilization is assured.
The second inaugural address my take on it was that it had more of a vibe of a State of the Union address than an inaugural address, I think in part because it was indoors, and that made it sort of feel like he was addressing a joint session of Congress, even though he wasn't, even though this was an inaugural address. President Trump spoke in his sort of trademark low monotone, gave his list of grievances. Among his grievances this time was an assertion that there was not even a token effort made to fight the Los Angeles fires, which was a very unusual assertion. If this inaugural address is remembered, I think, as a signal of what's to come, it may be the part where he said, "We're taking it back," when talking about the Panama Canal. He pledged to be a president of peace and to not start any new wars, but did also pledge to forcibly take another country's territory. While President Trump was speaking, a relatively large group of Proud Boys, the pro-Trump armed paramilitary group, marched in full colors in their trademark black and gold in downtown Washington to the Capital One Arena. Just before the inaugural address, just before the swearing in, outgoing President Biden issued pardons to members of his family, noting that while they had done nothing wrong, he believed the threats and promises of politicized persecution of people who the new president has decided are his enemies warranted what President Biden would have otherwise never considered doing.
Here's the breaking news for you. Remember, people were upset that Joe Biden pardoned his son, Hunter Biden? Well, President Biden pardons his family on last day in office. Why is he doing that? Is it unprecedented? Yeah, it is unusual, but it's also because of the unprecedented, unusual administration that we have coming in, and he cannot trust his family in the hands of Donald Trump's Justice Department. What do you think about it? Let me know in the chat.
We're not living in normal times, as we've been discussing for 3 hours, but I think it's important to remind everybody that in normal times, the inaugural address is actually not political at all. I mean, it is the result of a political outcome of an election, but it is typically a president of either party discussing where the country is now and where it needs to go moving forward. It doesn't mean you're not discussing challenges. That's a part of it. You're discussing opportunities. But what struck me about this address was it was not just politicized. It was very personal. And there were a couple of things that I highlighted for myself. I mean, when he said, "I've been tested and challenged more than any president in our 250-year history, and I've learned a lot along the way." I think we would all disagree with that characterization, with this worth discussing. "I was saved by God to make America great again. Never again will immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents, something I know something about." Typically, a president is not discussing themselves, even though they won. The country elected them. They are discussing the country they are about to govern. And that struck me. The last thing I would say, just to build off of what Nicole said, is Of course, there are always crises going on in the country. The border is broken. It has been broken for some time. But border apprehensions are down. He talked about crime. Crime in major cities is down. He also talked about oil production. The climate is in crisis. Meanwhile, the country, the United States, produced the largest amount of crude oil than any other country in the world last year. So that also struck me as him projecting upon us crises that are maybe not the right definition of the crises we're actually facing.
Yeah, a presidential inauguration. Not political at all, Jen Psaki. You freaking moron. What the hell was she talking about? You can't make this stuff up. If you don't mind just smashing that thumbs up button for your boy, that really goes a long way into helping me out. And also, if you're not yet subscribing, this is not your first time here, hopefully this will be the video in which I can earn your subscription. Let's get it.
He knows it's a TV show. He went and gave one speech when he was supposed to play the role of important president, and then he goes to a luncheon an hour later, and he's like, the guys wouldn't let me talk about the stuff that I really wanted to talk about, which is revenge against crying Adam Kinzinger and blah, blah, blah. We're going to take Mark Milley's photo off the wall. Like, Trump knows that it's a show. And so I don't really know why everybody is playing along with his TV show. It's kind of where I do find myself pretty aligned with Karen Pence today.
Because it is a lie they have told themselves. They have told themselves the lie that if they are proximate to him, they are somehow going to be the final guardrail. And what we had to learn the first time was that did not prove to be true. There was no one who actually kept him honest and to his word.
Yeah.
What should we do instead? I mean, I'm game. I'm with you.
I mean, Karen didn't show up today. I think that we can just call it what it is. Again, he doesn't put his hand on the Bible, whatever. Maybe that's an accident. Maybe that's symbolism. But, like, the notion that he is, going to uphold the Constitution and that we're going to have this ceremony today where Joe Biden and Jill Biden do the traditional thing and they have tea in the White House and they stand together and take pictures. Then they go to the Capitol together. Then he forgets to put his hand on the Bible, and then he says he's going to uphold the Constitution. It's like, we know he's not going to uphold the Constitution. He didn't already. He was in there once, and when he lost, he sicked a mob of people at the police that are guarding this very Capitol where all this stuff is happening. So, look, we can't stop any of this. I think quiet protests, I think acting sternly and severely and speaking clearly about the truth of what we expect from Donald Trump, rather than saying, well, rather than giving, friendly niceties at the presidential lunch, I think that we're doing a lot of things that help him advance his own political project. I don't really, and by we, I mean, I think that his political opponents are doing a lot of things that help advance his political project today, and I don't really know why.
Yeah, if I could just, before I throw it to Anderson, just bring back that photograph of the tech bros inside St. John's Church. It's just one other thing I want to show. So we see Mark Zuckerberg on the left there with the curly hair, CEO of Meta. Tim Cook, his face is blocked, but he has the white hair, CEO of Apple. Jeff Bezos on the right there, the bald gentleman looking to his right, CEO of Amazon. The gentleman behind Mark Zuckerberg is Sundar Pichai. He's the CEO of Google. And Anderson, between those four people, plus Elon Musk from Twitter or X, those five people that I just mentioned, the four in the photograph and also Elon Musk, control so much of the information that we receive. So much is in their hands when it comes to ascertaining, monitoring, or refusing to monitor what is real, what is not real. And we're about to enter an era of deep fakes and all sorts of misinformation. And the degree to which those five gentlemen play a role or do not play a role will be pivotal in terms of where the American people are 4 years from now, in terms of understanding what is true and what is false.
You're also you said we, you're not just talking about we, the United States. You're talking about the world. Mm-hmm. All human beings on the planet. They control access to information. They're the gatekeepers in many ways to information for the entire planet. Van, you had some thoughts seeing that picture of all of them.
Yeah, look, I mean, Kentucky Congressman James Comer joins us now here on the set. Sir, it's good to have you here. It's a good day. But there was so much news coming up during that inauguration. I mean, Biden effectively pardons like the rest of his family. Then we get that 20 minutes before, before power changes and Biden leaves. We get these alerts on our phone as we're all paying attention to this inauguration. We just see these sweeping, preemptive pardons, right? And going back like 10 years, just like with Hunter. Mm-hmm. That's wild.
It's wild.
Yeah.
He pardoned his whole family.
Yeah.
So he's pardoned 7 Biden family members. Our investigation found that that 10 Biden family members, including Joe Biden, received money through the influence peddling schemes that were laundered through a series of shell companies and then deposited in Biden family members' bank accounts through incremental payments. This is an admission of guilt. Joe Biden lied to the American people. He said he would not pardon his family. You go back even further, he said he had no idea what his family did for a living. He said he never met any of these people. Our investigation proved he met all of the people. The Irish whistleblowers testified that they never paid any taxes on this money. It's the biggest public corruption story in my lifetime, and today was the exclamation point by Joe Biden pardoning his entire family preemptively.
I can't believe that you're right. It is. Yeah. It's effectively an admission, and it's also an admission because it's so obvious that the story was true. I mean, your investigation. I mean, we're talking about bank records from major banks, major U.S. banks. These are just things that can't lie, and it doesn't matter that it was never reported on by the mainstream media, which is again just another ridiculous side of that story. Is that a factual investigation into clear corruption by the president and the first family, and it just never went anywhere with the media. But the fact that, I mean, you had all, I mean, I remember that chart that just showed all that money coming out of China. And then it just breaks up into all of these shell. How many shell companies is there? Most people don't know what a shell company is. And then it goes to all these family members, and now they all get pardons.
He had about 26 LLCs. 20 of them were shells. They didn't produce a good or service. And I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt on the other 6. But 20 did nothing but transfer money in and out from other LLCs in this web. This was a sophisticated...
To launder money.
To launder money.
To conceal the source and destination of money.
Not my words. 6 different banks, when they filed those suspicious activity reports with the Treasury Cabinet, that's where the banks alerted the federal government that they fear their clients committing a financial crime. The 6 biggest banks in America all testified to the Treasury that they feared and they believed strongly that the Biden family were committing a host of financial crimes.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm here for all these meltdowns. I thought Don Lemon was going to cry in that one clip. If you enjoyed it, please smash that thumbs up button for your boy. That really actually does do a lot to help me out here. And if you're not yet subscribed and you want to help the channel grow, a subscription would be appreciated. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out, everybody.